The world is full of people waiting for the right moment to begin. They wait for expertise, for the perfect plan, for someone to hand them a guarantee. These are the dreamers who never become doers. If you are listening to these words, you are not here to join their ranks. You are here to move, to act, to shape reality with your hands, no matter how rough your first attempts may be. So I will tell you what the successful already know. The secret is to begin with what you know, and let success itself shape the rest. Most people believe knowledge precedes action. They are wrong. Progress is not built on waiting until you have every answer. It is built on movement, on the compounding power of effort, on the clarity that only comes from experience. When you begin with what you know, you plant your flag on solid ground, no matter how small. From there, every step you take unlocks more of the path ahead. This is how every achievement in history was built, one deliberate, imperfect step at a time. The greats were not born with maps. They made them as they walked. Do not fall into the trap of thinking that your starting point is insignificant. There are no insignificant beginnings, only insignificant resolve. The most successful men and women you admire began with a single skill, a single idea, a single resource. They looked at what was within their immediate reach and put it to work. When you act upon what you know, however limited, you gain two invaluable assets: momentum and feedback. Momentum pushes you forward, while feedback teaches you what works and what doesn't. Together, they drive the transformation of your life. You may fear that what you know is not enough. That is the self-doubt talking, the enemy of all progress. If you wait until you feel fully ready, you will be waiting forever. You must start as you are, where you are, with whatever you have. When you do, you harness the law of increasing returns. Every small victory makes you braver, smarter, and better equipped for the next challenge. Action breeds clarity. Clarity breeds confidence. Confidence breeds more action, and thus the cycle repeats until you are living in the results you once thought were impossible. Most will make the excuse of inexperience, but inexperience is a blessing in disguise. It means you are still moldable, still open to learning, still free from the constraints of how things have always been done. Those who know everything rarely create anything new. The edge belongs to the willing, not the waiting. As you move forward, you will encounter obstacles. Good. Each obstacle is a lesson. Each mistake is a teacher. The only failure is to remain idle, to let your talents rust from disuse. Success is not handed to those who think. It is handed to those who think and do. You must make a habit of learning on your feet. Treat each day as an apprenticeship with life itself. When a problem arises, tackle it with the tools you have, and if they break or prove insufficient, invent better ones as you go. There is no curriculum for greatness beyond this. Do what you can now, and let necessity train you for the next level. You are far more resourceful than you realize, so long as you are willing to step into the unknown. Do not waste another day preparing endlessly. Instead, prepare by doing. Study the fundamentals, yes, but make every lesson a tool to be used immediately. Action transforms information into understanding. If you read a principle, test it in your life before the day is over. If you hear advice, implement it before doubt can take root. The difference between the successful and the stagnant is not in what they know, but in what they do with what they know. Every accomplishment is born of this principle. Begin with what you know and learn the rest in motion. When you build a bridge, you don't wait until you have crossed the river to start laying the planks. You drive the first stake, then the next, trusting that each small advance brings you closer to the other side. Success is a moving target, and it reveals itself only to those in pursuit. In every field, the most respected are those who started early, failed often, and learned fast. You do not need to be the most talented or the most educated. You need only be the most willing to act, to fail, and to adapt. Let others perfect their plans while you perfect your execution. Let others debate the right way while you discover the effective way by trial and error. As you do, your competence will grow to match your ambition, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be will shrink with every step. You must develop a relentless bias for action. When opportunity presents itself, seize it, even if you do not feel ready. If you hesitate, you will watch life's riches pass you by. Fortune favors the bold, and boldness is nothing more than the decision to move before you are certain. Life rewards those who show up, who make themselves available to possibility, who trust that learning is a journey, not a prerequisite. Be vigilant against the poison of perfectionism. The world does not need your perfect idea or your flawless execution. It needs your best effort, right now, continually improved by the lessons you gather along the way. You will make mistakes. Embrace them. Each is a rung on the ladder of mastery. The only man who never makes a mistake is the man who never dares. As you gain experience, you will notice something remarkable. Each problem solved unlocks new capacities within you. You begin to think differently, act more decisively, and anticipate what once surprised you. This is not luck. It is the natural result of repeated, intentional action. The more you act, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you can act. This is the spiral of success, an upward force that lifts you to heights undreamed of at the beginning. Never allow yourself the luxury of waiting for all the answers. Knowledge grows in the doing. There is no greater teacher than adversity, no sharper blade than necessity. When you press forward, you will attract resources, people, and opportunities that would have been invisible from the sidelines. The universe has a way of rewarding those who commit with their whole heart, who signal their seriousness by their actions. Those who only wish, watch as others win. So let today be the day you stop postponing your own advancement. Inventory your current skills, assets, relationships, and experiences. Find a way to put them to work immediately. If you know how to sell, sell. If you know how to build, build. If you know how to speak, speak. If you know only how to try, then try harder and longer than anyone else is willing. In the process, you will discover abilities you did not know you possessed and resources that would have stayed hidden had you waited. The path of progress is not straight, nor is it easy. You will falter, you will question yourself, and you will be tempted to give up. Let these moments be your crucible. Each time you push through uncertainty, you forge the steel of your own character. Each time you choose action over hesitation, you widen the gulf between yourself and those who remain spectators in their own lives. Success is not a single act, but a cumulative process, a mosaic built from thousands of imperfect, courageous steps. In your journey, you will find mentors, books, and systems to guide you, but none can replace the wisdom earned by doing. Use them as reference points, not as crutches. The greatest guidance is the feedback from your own results. Be ruthlessly honest about what is working and what is not. Adjust quickly. Never linger in regret. The man who adapts fastest wins. Remember, the world is designed to distract you, to convince you that you are not ready, that you need more credentials, more experience, more validation. This is the voice of mediocrity. Silence it with action. Nothing builds credibility faster than results. Nothing quiets your doubters, inside or out, like evidence of progress. Every achievement, large or small, is proof that you were right to begin. You will never arrive if you never depart. Begin now. Use what you know. Success is waiting to teach you everything else you will need. Trust in the process. Trust in yourself. And above all, trust in the power of decisive, persistent action. That is the secret the world's winners have always known, and now you know it too. Let us move forward. For forward is the only direction that yields reward. As you have now set your mind to begin with what you know, you must understand that persistence in the face of uncertainty is the dividing line between those who dream and those who achieve. It is not the privilege of certainty that brings victory. It is the discipline of momentum. Your journey must become a march, not a hesitant shuffle. Each day is an opportunity to build a legacy out of whatever raw materials are in your hands at this moment. Too many allow their talents to rot, their ideas to decay, waiting for better tools or a clearer map. The winners are those who seize the tools at hand and start hammering, chiseling, and building, trusting that improvement will arise from necessity and experience. You are not required to know the entire road ahead before taking the first step. This is a truth that has eluded many a would-be giant. Your present knowledge, no matter how basic, is sufficient for now. The secret is to convert every experience, every trial, every setback into a lesson that sharpens your mind and expands your arsenal. Knowledge, like wealth, is compounded by those who put it to work. If you squander what you know by withholding action, you will never unlock the greater treasures that follow. Let this sink into your bones. Action is the great revealer. When you move forward, you force the world to respond. It is in this dynamic dance of effort and reaction that your education accelerates. The world rewards movement. Doors you never saw before will swing open only after you have left the comfort of your chair. The more decisive your stride, the more the universe conspires to introduce you to opportunities, allies, and resources that the cautious never encounter. But these rewards are reserved for those willing to proceed despite the fog. The stories of every empire, every fortune, every influential life are stories of those who dared to start small. Consider the innovators, the creators, the empire builders. They began with a single advantage, a single idea, a single insight. Yet, by relentless application and stubborn learning, they multiplied their resources and their reach. If you doubt this, look at the biographies of those you admire. They began with less than you imagine, but with more resolve than you can fathom. What set them apart was not genius, but audacity. The audacity to act in the face of the unknown. Do not mistake movement for random activity. The movement that creates progress is intentional, focused, and relentless. It is the daily habit of asking, what can I do with what I know today? And then doing it. Each time you do, you generate feedback. This feedback is the most honest teacher you will ever meet. It will not flatter you, but it will make you better. It will strip away illusion and reveal your real strengths and weaknesses. With every action, the fog thins and your path becomes more distinct. One of the gravest errors is to overestimate the importance of information and underestimate the power of initiative. Knowledge is everywhere, cheap and abundant, but initiative is rare. The value is not in what you know, but in what you do with what you know. The library is full of unread books. The cemetery is full of unused ideas. You must be among the living, the acting, the experimenting. The person who does more with less is always ahead of the one who waits to do more with more. There will be setbacks. There will be days when your progress feels invisible, when the fruits of your labor seem to vanish in the ether. This is when the average man gives up, blaming fate or bad luck. Do not be that man. Your greatest breakthroughs are often preceded by your greatest doubts. When you feel stuck, that is the sign you are on the edge of learning something vital. Press on. The wall in front of you is not permanent. It is the boundary between your present understanding and your next level. Break through, and you will find new strength, new knowledge, and new horizons awaiting. The winners in life are those who persist long enough for luck to find them working. What some call luck is often the result of tenacity multiplied by time. The world will call you lucky when your years of unseen struggle begin to pay dividends in public. Do not seek applause in the beginning. Seek only to outlast the hesitation and uncertainty that keeps others trapped at the starting line. With each passing day of determined effort, you plant seeds that compound beneath the surface until the world can no longer ignore your harvest. You must also train yourself to enjoy the process of learning and adapting. The greatest entrepreneurs, leaders, and creators are insatiable students. They devour feedback, seek criticism, and treat every mistake as a stepping stone. They do not waste energy lamenting what they do not know. They invest that energy in acquiring the next lesson. This growth mindset transforms every struggle into fuel for advancement. Instead of fearing ignorance, make a friend of it. Let it be the spark that drives you to find answers through action, not just contemplation. Some will argue that mistakes are costly, that errors must be avoided at all costs. Let them argue. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to become powerful. Mistakes are only costly to those who refuse to learn from them. For the wise, every misstep is a tuition payment in the school of progress. When you begin, you must embrace the roughness of your initial attempts and understand that polish comes with practice, not with waiting. Think now of the discipline required to keep advancing. It is easy to take the first step when excitement is high. What matters most is the second step, and the third, especially when excitement fades and resistance rises. Make discipline your closest companion. Set a schedule for yourself. Define small targets that can be achieved with what you already know. Each target you hit, no matter how minor, adds to your stockpile of confidence and competence. Notice how your circle changes as you begin to act. Some will doubt, others will discourage, a few will try to pull you back to their comfort zone. Pay them no mind. The doubters are projecting their own paralysis onto you. Instead, seek out those who act, those who create, those who push themselves forward daily. Surround yourself with people who value action over talk. If you cannot find them in person, find them in books, recordings, or any medium that transmits the energy of progress. As you progress, keep a written record of what works and what fails. This log will become your blueprint for future endeavors. It is your evidence of growth, your insurance against repeating the same mistakes, and your fuel when motivation wavers. Reflect often, but never dwell too long. Action is your true north. Use reflection to course correct, not to paralyze. The law of compounding is not just for money. It applies to your skills, habits, and network. Small, repeated acts accumulate into massive results. Today's modest attempt is the foundation of tomorrow's expertise. Do not be seduced by shortcuts or gimmicks. The only secret is sustained effort, applied to whatever knowledge you possess, upgraded by daily learning. You must build an inner dialogue that supports your movement. Tell yourself relentlessly, I may not know everything, but I know enough to take the next step. I trust that the next step will teach me more than 100 hours of pondering. The mind obeys the orders it hears most often. Train it to seek motion over hesitation, action over worry, persistence over comfort. Guard yourself against the greatest thief of progress, comparison. The urge to measure your journey by someone else's timeline is poison. Your progress must be compared only to where you began, not to where others are. Remember, the vast majority never begin at all. By moving, you are already among the few. Let your own improvement be your yardstick. Celebrate each victory, however small, and use it as a springboard for the next. Understand that the universe is impartial. It does not care about your intentions, only your actions. Results follow those who act, not those who mean well. Life is the most ruthless scorekeeper, rewarding effort and penalizing idleness. The good news is that every day is a new chance to tip the scales in your favor. Begin again as many times as necessary. Each new start is an act of courage and an investment in your own greatness. And finally, remember that the world does not need more experts. It needs more starters, more doers, more learners who are unafraid of imperfection. You were not put here to wait for permission or to endlessly prepare. You were put here to move. The wisdom, wealth, and mastery you seek are on the other side of persistent, intentional action. Begin with what you know. Build on it every single day. And soon you will realize that the path to success was always under your feet, waiting for you to take the first and then the next step. The power to transform your life does not lie in distant lands or complex formulas. It is rooted in the soil beneath your feet, in the mind you carry and the hands you possess. Every human being is endowed with an inner capacity for greatness, but only those who exploit the resources they currently control ever see that greatness materialize. This is the principle upon which your destiny will turn. Begin with what you know, exhaust it, and through the effort, you will be taught what you do not know. There is no shame in starting small. The only shame is in remaining small by refusing to start. The man who achieves, the woman who ascends, the soul who breaks free from mediocrity, they have all mastered the art of making the most out of the least. If you have just one idea, that idea is enough. Work it. If you have only one skill, refine it until it sparkles. If you have only a fragment of time each day, invest it with such intention that it compounds beyond all expectation. The world does not honor the idle dreamer or the perfectionist who waits for a more opportune moment. It rewards the one who acts, stumbles, learns, and acts again. Inaction breeds only regret and stagnation, while action, no matter how awkward, is always the tutor of new wisdom. You must be ruthless in your self-discipline. Ignore the seductive whispers that promise you tomorrow or someday. There is no tomorrow for those who put off the work of today. The universe moves for those who move first. Every day you hesitate, someone else is pressing forward, gaining ground, making their ignorance submit to their determination. If you do not begin with what you have and what you know, you will fall behind, not because the world is unfair, but because you failed to exploit your own advantage. Your ideas, your experiences, your skills are not trivial. They are the seeds of your empire if you will only plant them. Stop seeking certainty before you act. Certainty is a mirage, forever dancing just beyond your reach. Clarity, wisdom, and mastery arise from motion, not from motionlessness. You cannot plan your way to success in the silence of your mind. You must engage the world directly. The feedback you receive, positive or negative, is a precious gift. It will sting at times, but it will reveal to you the boundaries of your current understanding and force you to expand. Every successful man or woman is the product of 1,000 small corrections, 1,000 miscalculations swiftly addressed, 1,000 errors transformed into new approaches. Fear of imperfection is the enemy of all progress. Many would-be creators, leaders, and builders bury their dreams because they believe their efforts must be flawless from the outset. This is nonsense. Perfection is not the starting point, but the distant result of relentless improvement. Your job is not to produce greatness on the first attempt. Your job is to produce something, anything, and then refine it as you go. The most influential works of humanity began as rough drafts, awkward conversations, and humble experiments. Only through repeated effort did they become polished and powerful. You must fall in love with the process of trial and correction. When you act, you will encounter friction, mistakes, resistance, and even the scorn of others. Good. These are your instructors. Welcome them. Every error is a message from reality, and only the courageous are willing to listen. The weak recoil from criticism and obstacles, while the strong study them for clues. Every time you adjust your approach in response to new information, you become more formidable. Each day spent adapting and evolving is a day spent rising above the crowd of idle spectators. Remember this: progress is rarely linear. There will be periods of explosive growth followed by stretches of apparent stagnation. You will sometimes feel as if your effort is yielding nothing. This is the season when most give up. But you, who are committed to learning through doing, will persist. You will trust that beneath the surface, your skills are compounding, your confidence is strengthening, and your path is becoming clearer. The laws of nature do not permit overnight harvests. Seeds sown today must be tended patiently, watered with discipline, and protected from the pests of doubt and distraction. There is no substitute for self-reliance. The surest way to sabotage your future is to wait for others to rescue you, validate you, or give you permission to begin. Fortune favors the self-starter, the one who does not beg for opportunity, but creates it from what is already available. Independence of thought, initiative in action, and persistence in adversity. These are the currencies in which success deals. The world is full of the passive, the compliant, the dependent. The rare individual who chooses to act on their own initiative, regardless of public opinion, commands opportunities others never see. One of the most significant skills you can develop is the ability to mine lessons from every outcome. Whether you achieve a smashing victory or a humbling defeat, you must harvest the insight buried in the experience. Do not curse your failures. Interrogate them. What was missing? What assumption proved false? What skill needs sharpening? Each answer brings you closer to mastery. Winners are those who refuse to waste a single setback. They extract the maximum learning from every circumstance. In this way, even your mistakes become stepping stones. Let me remind you of the importance of focus. The man who tries to master 100 things at once becomes a dabbler, and the dabbler is quickly forgotten. Channel your energy into the development of one or two key abilities. Become so proficient in your chosen field that the world cannot ignore you. Specialization, not generalization, breeds dominance. Do not scatter your efforts or dilute your talents by constantly changing direction. Choose a worthy pursuit and commit to it, trusting that mastery of one thing will bring you into contact with the next level of opportunity. You must cultivate resilience, for the road will test your resolve. There will be critics and doubters, and sometimes there will be no applause at all. You will work in obscurity, toiling for days, weeks, even years before your labor is recognized. Endure this season with dignity. The approval of others is fleeting, but the pride that comes from building something with your own hands is eternal. The man who cannot endure discomfort will never know the thrill of achievement. Adopt the attitude that you are forging your destiny in the fires of adversity, and let no setback rob you of your purpose. It is crucial to seek out mentors and models, but never let admiration become imitation. Study the successful, yes, absorb their principles, adopt their strategies, but adapt them to your unique circumstances and talents. The greatest insult to your potential is to become a second-rate copy of another person. Your path is your own, and your most profound insights will come from tailoring the lessons of others to your own situation. Honor your individuality. It is your competitive advantage in a world that celebrates conformity. Never underestimate the compounding effect of daily progress. The difference between the extraordinary and the average is not one of massive talent, but of persistent incremental growth. A single hour of focused effort each day accumulates to 365 hours a year, enough to transform any novice into an authority. Most will not do it. They are content to remain as they are. But if you commit to daily improvement, no matter how modest, you will soon find yourself in rare company. It is the slow, steady application of effort that carves mountains and shapes destinies. Discipline yourself to guard your environment. Surround yourself with those who push you forward, not those who drag you back. The energy of your surroundings will seep into your spirit, either nourishing your ambition or suffocating it. Be ruthless in your selection of influences, books, conversations, associations. Expose yourself to ideas that challenge you, people who inspire you, and environments that stimulate your best thinking. Cut away the toxic and the trivial. You are the average of the influences you allow to shape you. Choose wisely. Develop a written plan. There is power in putting your intentions on paper. Write down what you know, what you want, and what you are willing to do to achieve it. Review your plan daily. Revise it as you grow. A written plan becomes a contract with yourself, a declaration of seriousness, a map for your journey. Those who drift through life without plans are forever at the mercy of circumstance. The planner, by contrast, shapes fate by deliberate design. Above all, cultivate an unbreakable faith in your own capacity to adapt and overcome. No one is born with complete knowledge. Even the giants began as learners. The difference is that they refused to remain in ignorance. They trusted themselves enough to begin, enough to fail, enough to try again. That is the essence of self-creation. Relentless belief, disciplined effort, and unyielding resilience. The world bends to the will of those who keep showing up. Now, as you advance in your pursuit, remember that mastery is a journey without end. There is no final plateau, no summit beyond which growth ceases. Each level conquered reveals a new vista of challenge and potential. This is the joy of the self-made man or woman. The knowledge that each day brings fresh opportunities for expansion. Do not seek comfort, seek growth. Each uncomfortable step is a signal that you are advancing. When you outgrow your current circumstances, do not shrink to fit them. Expand your vision and your actions until the world must make room for your ambition. Start now. Begin with what you know. Build on it day after day with the confidence that the process itself will supply what you lack. The mind that moves creates its own luck, draws in its own teachers, and forges its own future. In the end, you will not be measured by what you began with, but by what you built with it. Success belongs to those who are willing to learn, to persist, and to begin before they feel ready. When you look honestly at your life, the greatest threat to your progress is not what you don't have, but your failure to act upon what you already possess. Opportunity is a living, breathing force. invisible to the apathetic and inattentive, yet always visible to those who discipline themselves to see it. The person who constantly fixates on their limitations is like a farmer who laments barren fields while seeds lie idle in his barn. There is no progress for the man or woman who waits for perfect conditions, for perfection is a mirage meant to trap the timid. Only by working with what is at hand do you learn the truths that will deliver you to greater fields. Every resource, every ability, every scrap of knowledge within your reach is the raw material of your fortune. To believe otherwise is to fall into the pit of self-pity, a pit that has swallowed more ambition than any external force ever could. You must shake yourself awake from the hypnosis of lack. Stop envying those who started with more. You are not chained to your circumstances unless you choose to be. The world is filled with men and women who triumphed despite meager beginnings, while those who had everything at their fingertips often squandered their inheritance, too lazy to leverage it or too frightened to risk losing it. The moment you start using what you know and what you have, no matter how limited, is the moment your destiny begins to change. Beware the paralysis of overthinking. How many hours, days, or even years have you wasted in contemplation, analysis, or speculation, searching for the perfect plan? No plan survives its first brush with reality unchanged. Success is not a chess game to be played out 100 moves in advance, but a relentless advance, step by step, each move revealing the next as you go. Those who demand guarantees before they act are condemned to perpetual frustration. Security comes not from standing still, but from strengthening your mind, skill, and courage through repeated engagement with the world. The man or woman who moves learns the lay of the land, while the one who hesitates is always lost. If you desire to rise, direct your attention away from the imagined obstacles and toward your sphere of control. What can you do right now, today, to move the needle? What skill can you develop? What connection can you make? What service can you offer? What solution can you attempt? You may think your efforts are too small to matter, but the world rewards momentum. A single step in the right direction sets into motion unseen forces. You will discover new paths, meet allies you never anticipated, and unlock reserves of resilience that only action can reveal. But you must move first. No one and nothing will move for you. Understand this. Mastery is achieved through repetition, not through novelty. The person who spends their days forever seeking the next shiny tactic or shortcut never develops the depth that commands respect and reward. You must persist with your current knowledge and sharpen it until it becomes a tool of influence and distinction. Through this process, you will discover new truths, not by theory, but by lived experience. Every skill you master, every lesson you absorb through repetition, becomes a foundation stone on which higher knowledge can be built. The master, unlike the dabbler, is content to polish a single skill for 1,000 hours, knowing that such devotion yields exponential returns. It is essential to cultivate a habit of rigorous self-assessment. Do not wait for the world to provide feedback. Seek it out yourself. After each effort, ask, what worked? What didn't? Where did I compromise? Where did I excel? Ruthless honesty with yourself is the precursor to rapid growth. The mind that tolerates excuses, rationalizations, or self-pity will always find reasons to remain mediocre. The mind that demands improvement from itself will always find ways to improve. If you wish to outpace your competition, do not measure yourself by their failures. Measure yourself by the highest standard you can conceive and raise it as you grow. To begin with, what you know is not an act of resignation, but of power. It is the declaration that you will build your fortune with your own hands, regardless of the materials at your disposal. This is the spirit that moves mountains, founds empires, and creates legacies. It is the spirit that refuses to wait for rescue or for ideal circumstances. It is the spirit that knows. If you act, knowledge will come. If you persist, resources will gather. If you improve, doors will open. But none of these blessings will ever reach the man or woman who remains static. You must train yourself to act in spite of uncertainty. Too often, people imagine that those who succeed are free from fear, but this is a delusion. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. Fear is the mind's attempt to protect you from discomfort, but in reality, it is often just a smokescreen that keeps you from growth. The bold are not less afraid than the timid. They are simply more committed to their mission. Every time you act in the face of uncertainty, you gather evidence that your mind and body can withstand it. Over time, this becomes confidence, an unshakable belief that whatever you do not know, you can and will learn. Your association with others will either fuel your rise or undermine it. Do not underestimate the influence of your environment. If you surround yourself with those who gripe, complain, and blame, you will absorb their mindset and fall into the same patterns. Seek the company of the bold, the builders, the solution seekers, those who are not content with wishing but are intent on working. Let their example infect you with ambition and tenacity. And if you cannot find such companions, become your own source of motivation. Let your actions speak so loudly that others are drawn to follow you. Every opportunity you desire is connected to people, and every person responds to energy, initiative, and competence. Begin with what you know, and as you demonstrate value, however small at first, you will attract the notice of those who can open greater doors. Never ask for a favor before you have proven your worth. Instead, give freely of your best effort, your sharpest skill, your most reliable service. The world is filled with people clamoring for opportunities, but only a fraction are willing to pay the price in advance by delivering value before expecting reward. Be among the few, and you will never lack for opportunity. The story of success is always a story of evolution. Do not expect the shape of your ambition today to match its shape tomorrow. As you act, learn, and adapt, your vision will grow sharper, your goals will become bolder, and your methods more refined. Be flexible, rigid plans break, but adaptable minds thrive. Hold tight to your purpose, but be willing to alter your tactics as reality demands. If you must abandon a method, do so without regret. It served its purpose in getting you to this point. Evolution is the natural law of progress. Those who refuse to evolve become obsolete. Those who embrace change with intelligence and enthusiasm remain forever on the ascent. Success demands relentless follow-through. The difference between those who almost succeed and those who truly win is that the latter finish what they start. Consistency is the silent engine that builds empires, crafts, legacies, and creates a sense of inevitability around your progress. Set your intention each day, act upon it, and finish, no matter how imperfectly. The world is littered with abandoned projects, half-written books, and unfinished dreams. Let your record show that you saw things through, that you became the rare individual who can be trusted to deliver, not merely to promise. Guard your mind against cynicism and doubt. There will always be critics who ridicule the beginner, who mock the one who dares to try with limited resources. Their voices are the death rattle of those who surrendered their own ambitions. Ignore them. The critic is always less accomplished than the creator. Let your work answer their doubts. The only opinion that truly matters is your own, and the only result that counts is the one you achieve by putting your knowledge into action. Success is always self-defined. Refuse to let anyone else set your limits. If you wish to accelerate your learning, Teach others what you know as soon as you know it. There is no better test of understanding than to explain a principle or process to someone else. In clarifying your thoughts for another, you clarify them for yourself. This is the engine of mastery, reflection, articulation, and iteration. As you teach, you become more confident, more resourceful, and more influential. The world belongs to those who share their gifts boldly and who, in doing so, expand their own. Above all, cultivate a sense of urgency. Time is the only non-renewable resource. Each day spent hesitating, each hour given to distraction is gone forever. The clock is always ticking, and only those who act with urgency will make the most of their allotment. Do not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. Build your future today with what you know, where you are, and with whatever tools you have. The man or woman who lives with urgency outpaces the competition, compels luck to their side, and achieves more in a year than others do in a decade. As you persist with what you know, your path will be illuminated step by step. With every action, you draw the future toward you. Do not seek shortcuts, seek substance. Do not seek comfort, seek challenge. In doing so, you will discover that what you once thought impossible becomes inevitable, and what you once saw as your limits were nothing but the starting line of your true potential. This is the law of growth, the spirit of enterprise, and the heart of achievement. Begin, persist, evolve, and success will not only teach you the rest, it will open doors you never dreamed existed. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop telling yourself the story that someone else holds the power to unlock your next chapter. Today, you possess enough knowledge to start, enough experience to try, enough strength to take one more step forward, even if it is trembling. Too many souls waste their lives seeking permission from family, society, or even from their own fearful minds. Understand this. The person who waits for perfect clarity, for the green light from every direction, is the person who dies with their music still in them. History does not remember the hesitant. It remembers the bold, the ones who took what they knew and shaped it into a platform for greater learning, for greater achievement. Look around you. The world is a university. Each obstacle you face is a lesson. Each encounter with difficulty, with resistance, with challenge, is the tuition you pay for your next advancement. Most people curse adversity, but the wise mind welcomes it as the master teacher. Every time you overcome, you add new pages to your manual of living. You learn resourcefulness, adaptability, tenacity. You learn that problems are not signs to turn back, but invitations to expand. The man or woman who builds their character through difficulty becomes unbreakable. This is the law of growth. Challenge yourself with what you know, and the universe will respond by expanding your boundaries. The greatest deception you can fall prey to is the myth of the self-made success who leapt fully formed into their destiny. There is no such creature. The mountain climber did not conquer the summit in one leap. He took thousands of deliberate, sometimes stumbling steps. The entrepreneur did not start with an empire. They started with a single customer, a single sale, a single imperfect product. You must not be shamed by humble beginnings. The wisdom and resilience you cultivate by starting small, by struggling, by learning as you go, these are the very qualities that make success durable. The proud man who waits to begin until he can guarantee applause never hears it. The humble man who begins with what he knows soon draws the world's attention through consistent action. If you desire greater resources, master resourcefulness. If you desire greater power, master perseverance. If you desire greater wisdom, master the habit of extracting lessons from every outcome, good or bad. Life's rewards always flow toward the industrious, the person who puts knowledge to use, who multiplies their small beginnings through sweat, observation, and constant adaptation. Don't you see? The universe respects the one who makes the most of what they have. When you do this faithfully, more is always added. Opportunities arrive. People notice your results. Doors open, not by luck, but by the magnetic pull of consistent, value-driven action. There is a principle that governs all achievement. Progress begets progress. Your greatest leaps forward will come not from sudden inspiration, but from the momentum you build by taking action every single day. You may not know the entire path. You may be uncertain where your current knowledge will take you. It does not matter. What matters is that you move, and in moving, you learn. In learning, you grow. In growing, you attract new opportunities, new alliances, new wisdom. Stagnation is the enemy. Action is your ally. Every day you refuse to act, you rob yourself of experience that could not only solve your present challenges, but create a new and better future. Discipline is the bridge between what you know and what you dream of achieving. Your mind is like a muscle. It grows by exertion. Do not wait for motivation. Cultivate discipline. The man who acts only when he feels like it is forever the slave of his moods and circumstances. The woman who acts regardless of her feelings becomes the master of her fate. Train yourself to take action in the presence of doubt, fatigue, and fear. The more you do, the less those obstacles will control you. Eventually, discipline transforms into habit, and habit into character. It is the daily repetition of effort, no matter how small, that carves the grooves of greatness into your life. Excellence is born of focus. Too many scatter their energies in 1,000 directions, forever dabbling, never committing. Choose your path with the best knowledge you have. Then walk it, refusing to be diverted by every new distraction or every voice promising shortcuts. Greatness is found in depth, not breadth. Become so good at one thing that the world cannot ignore you. As you master your chosen field, adjacent opportunities will reveal themselves. But until you have persisted long enough to know the territory well, refuse to abandon your post at the first sign of boredom or difficulty. This is the difference between mediocrity and mastery. You must learn to silence the critic within. There will always be a part of you that doubts, that questions, that urges caution. Do not let this inner voice become your master. Thank it for its concern and then move forward anyway. Action is the antidote to doubt. Each time you complete a task, however small, you train your mind to believe in your own agency. Confidence is built not through affirmation alone, but through achievement, by setting a goal and meeting it again and again. Let your victories, no matter how minor, compound until your self-doubt is drowned out by a chorus of evidence that you are, in fact, capable. Pay attention to your self-talk. The story you tell yourself becomes the script you live by. If you constantly affirm your limitations, I am not ready, I don't know enough, others are better than me, you will live into that narrative. Begin instead with what you know, and let your internal dialogue be one of capability, determination, and openness to growth. Tell yourself, I will learn as I go. I will improve by doing. I will build as I climb. This mindset attracts both the stamina and the serendipity required for big results. Surround yourself with evidence of possibility. Read the biographies of those who started from less than you, who faced greater odds, who persevered where others quit. Let their stories light a fire beneath your excuses. Seek out mentors, allies, and role models, not to copy them, but to remind yourself what is achievable. When you encounter resistance, and you will, interpret it not as a sign to turn back, but as proof you are on a path worth pursuing. The world's rewards go to those who prove their worth through tenacity, who learn from every encounter, who adapt faster than their competitors. When the world ignores you, when your results lag behind your effort, when you feel invisible, this is not the time to retreat. It is the time to double down on your actions. Make yourself impossible to ignore through the sheer consistency of your effort. Let your results be so steady, so persistent, so dependable that they create their own gravity. People respect not what you claim you will do, but what you demonstrate day in and day out. Over time, you will become the person others look to for guidance, wisdom, and inspiration. Your expertise will be forged in the fires of persistence and will radiate outward, drawing opportunity to you as surely as the sun draws the flowers upward. Beware the temptation to compare your beginnings to someone else's middle or end. The race is not to the swift nor to the lucky, but to those who refuse to quit. You cannot see the struggle that built another's strength, nor the failures that forged their wisdom. Your path is unique. Respect your starting point and honor the journey by moving forward, one step at a time. Celebrate progress. Refuse to be discouraged by the distance ahead. Success is not a destination, but a direction. Each day you move forward is a day you claim your birthright. If you want to change your future, start by taking full responsibility for your present. No more blaming, no more complaining, no more waiting for rescue. Your life is your own. Every decision you make, every action you take, every risk you embrace, these are the bricks from which you build your future. If you lack knowledge, seek it. If you lack skill, practice. If you lack resources, become resourceful. The world does not owe you a living. It offers you the privilege of creating your own. Grasp that privilege with both hands and refuse to let go. The most powerful force you can cultivate is momentum. The first steps are always the hardest. The inertia of comfort and habit pulls at you. But once you begin, once you see the first signs of progress, energy multiplies. New ideas emerge, allies arrive, and the fog of uncertainty begins to lift. Momentum makes you unstoppable. Protect it fiercely. Never allow a single day of inaction to break your streak. Build routines, habits, and systems that support your forward motion. Let your life become a chain of days, each linked to the next by purpose and resolve. Do not fear mistakes. They are the tuition you pay for mastery. Each error is a lesson, each failure a stepping stone. The only true failure is inaction. The only permanent defeat is the abandonment of effort. Be bold enough to make mistakes, wise enough to learn from them, and resilient enough to keep going. Every champion has a record of failures longer than most people's record of attempts. Wear your scars with pride. They are the price of greatness. If you feel overwhelmed, simplify. Success is built not by grand gestures, but by 1,000 small acts repeated with intention. Break your goals into daily actions. Measure your progress. Adjust your approach. Over time, you will accomplish what once seemed impossible by focusing on what is possible today. The world rewards the persistent, the focused, the relentless. Become that person. Remember, the knowledge you lack today will reveal itself through the discipline of daily effort. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Begin with what you know. Move forward with courage, and the universe will conspire to teach you the rest. In the end, success is not about knowing everything. It is about refusing to let what you don't know stop you from acting on what you do. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. This is how you, too, will write your story of triumph. You have traveled a long road, perhaps most of it in your mind. You began with only the tools you had at hand. A glimmer of knowledge, a flicker of hope, a tiny voice that whispered, "There must be more for you than what you see." You stepped out, uncertain but undeterred, and every step has added substance to the vision that was once just a faint outline in your imagination. Now you must recognize the real lesson. The path of achievement is not merely a destination, but a transformation of self, one that deepens with every day you dare to move forward. The people who conquer mediocrity are not those with flawless beginnings or perfect plans. They are those who commit to learning in motion. They make their life a living laboratory. For them, every day is an experiment, every setback a valuable result, every conversation a chance to expand perspective. The world is teeming with lessons, hidden in struggle, disguised as disappointment, buried in the soil of adversity. The courageous mind unearths these lessons and turns them into gold. The final, unwavering truth is that you cannot wait for the right time to expand, to take the leap, to become who you are meant to be. Success punishes hesitation but rewards bold, humble action. If you are waiting for someone to give you a guarantee, if you are stalling for proof that you won't fail, if you are looking for a map that lays out every turn, you have already forfeited your advantage. The reality is this: life does not hand out guarantees to those who sit on the sidelines. Fortune attends the doer, not the observer. The only certainty is that by moving forward, you will find your footing, and in that movement, success will find you. Doubt is the silent assassin of dreams. Left unchallenged, it festers and multiplies, strangling your ambitions with its subtle poison. To defeat doubt, you must take action, small at first, but deliberate and relentless. Each day that you act, you shrink doubt's power and amplify your faith in yourself. You must speak to yourself with the voice of the determined. I will figure this out as I go. I will make mistakes and I will grow stronger because of them. Replace hesitation with momentum. Let movement be your medicine. The mind cannot dwell in fear and act with courage at the same time. Choose action. The world bends to the individual who refuses to quit. People will tell you it's too late, that you need more education, more experience, more support, more luck. Listen politely, but take their warnings as invitations to prove them wrong. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master once clumsy. It is not the absence of struggle that creates greatness. It is the refusal to give up when the struggle is greatest. The finish line is reserved for those who refuse to accept the status quo, who remain hungry even when others are satisfied. You must understand that knowledge is a living, breathing thing. It expands when used. It withers when ignored. You do not need to know everything now. The process of pursuit itself will reveal what you must learn next. Your needs will change. Your questions will evolve. Your ability to learn on demand will become your most valuable asset. Make a habit of seeking answers, but do not delay action until you feel fully prepared. Action and learning are partners. They grow together. The person who tries, stumbles, adjusts, and tries again will always outpace the one who only studies, only plans, only dreams. Self-reliance is a quiet superpower. Learn to trust your own judgment. Consult others, but do not let them make decisions for you. There will be moments when the crowd shouts for you to turn back, to give up, to settle. In those moments, remember that most people's lives are ruled by fear and habit. If you want extraordinary results, You must be willing to make extraordinary choices, sometimes alone. Build the inner strength to keep going when no one applauds, when no one understands, when progress is invisible to everyone but you. Acknowledge that your attitude is the engine of your journey. Resentment, blame, and cynicism will sap your strength. Gratitude, curiosity, and humility will refuel you when your tank runs low. Train your mind to look for what you can learn, not for what you can criticize. This positive discipline transforms obstacles into stepping stones, adversaries into teachers, and setbacks into new beginnings. The greatest fortunes have been built by those who found opportunities hidden within their problems. Guard your mind against the thief of comparison. No two lives unfold in the same way or on the same schedule. You have your own gifts, your own challenges, your own path. The only standard worth measuring against is your own progress. Are you wiser than you were last year? Stronger than last month? Bolder than yesterday? The compounding effect of steady self-improvement is greater than the fleeting thrill of any sudden victory. Let your curiosity lead you. The person who asks, "How can I make this better?" or "What can I do that others won't?" discovers advantages others overlook. The curious mind never stagnates. It is always seeking, always hungry, always ready to seize the next lesson and the next opportunity. Make curiosity a habit, not an accident. Feed it with books, with mentors, with new experiences. The more you learn, the more you see. The more you see, the more you can do. Resolve to master the fundamentals. While others chase fads or magic shortcuts, you must become relentless in your devotion to the basics. Success is not mysterious. It is built on simple principles: hard work, focus, persistence, discipline, learning, resilience. Execute the basics with more intensity, more precision, more consistency than anyone around you. That is how you create an edge that cannot be easily imitated or stolen. Your relationships will shape your destiny. Seek out those who are striving for more, who talk about ideas, growth, and possibility. Avoid those who settle, complain, and envy. You will rise or fall to the level of the company you keep. As you become more, you will attract better allies and mentors. As you give more, you will inspire others to join you in your mission. Leadership is earned through example, not position. The more you lift others, the higher you will rise. Remember that setbacks are not the end of your story, but a vital chapter in it. Embrace them. Study them. Refuse to let them define you. Every person who has achieved greatness has a catalog of failures, far more than you see. The difference is that they did not let those failures close the book. They learned, adjusted, persisted, and emerged wiser and stronger. Your greatest insights and breakthroughs will come on the other side of your most painful defeats. Make your word your bond. The world is littered with promises made and abandoned. Become the rare person who does what they say, who finishes what they start, who shows up even when it's inconvenient or hard. Each time you honor a commitment, you build credibility with yourself and with others. That credibility is a form of capital more valuable than money, for it attracts trust, loyalty, and opportunities that cannot be bought. Never stop refining your vision. As you learn, as you grow, as you achieve, your dreams will evolve. That is natural. Welcome the evolution. Set new goals. Dream bigger dreams. Let success be not a place to rest, but a platform for greater contribution. The world needs your example. You owe it to yourself and to those who look to you for inspiration to keep pressing forward. Above all, remember this: The future belongs to the doers, the learners, the builders. Begin with what you know. Take action in the face of uncertainty. Learn as you go. Refuse to give up. Success is not reserved for the privileged few. It is earned by the relentless many. The moment you move, the universe moves with you. The knowledge, the resources, the allies, and the opportunities will reveal themselves in perfect timing as long as you keep marching forward. Step into the unknown, for it is there you will discover who you truly are and what you are capable of becoming. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to begin right now with exactly what you know. The rest will come, as it always has, to those who dare